Hi, I'm Mandi, Pryor, and welcome to Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Spotlight on Pittsburgh is a program about Pittsburgh's most fascinating people and what they do to make our city an amazing place to live and work. When we come back, I'll introduce you to the fabulous Lynn Doehring of Bridge Insurance Group. Later on, we'll grab a moment with James Protin of the Protin Group. See you after the break. Hi, and thank you so much, Lynn, for coming on today.
Thank you, Mandi, for having me.
So we've known each other a little bit, so I thought you'd be a perfect fit to come on the show today. But I want you to tell your story to our audience and let them know just a little bit about you. So I guess the first thing I'd ask is, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for asking. No little girl grows up and says, I want to be an insurance agent. But my life has brought me to that, and about 35 years ago, I started in the insurance business. But during those times, what I did is I raised a family. I have 4 beautiful children. I have 2 grandchildren and 1 on the way. But the insurance world has turned into something that I absolutely love and am passionate about. So our tagline is we make insurance fun. And that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today, I think.
Yeah, and so can you tell me about, maybe the early stuff that you did and how you kind of got to where you are today?
I started in the business when I was 18 years old. And I started working for one company, and for 3 years, I kind of learned that particular product. But I decided that that really wasn't a good niche. It's our difference that makes us really valuable. And what I felt like is I needed to find a niche market that served what I considered to be an underserved population. So I chose to go into the individual market, mostly health insurance. So we did health insurance, Medicare, life insurance to people who had to purchase it on their own.
And so, I don't know that much about insurance, and I'm sure there's some people out there. So what is the individual market?
The individual market is anyone who has to choose their own plan. Many people on health insurance, of course, are covered by a group plan at their work or through their spouse. What we found is there were contractors, painters, people that owned their own businesses that didn't have time to do the research, and they were in improper plans that weren't covering them well, or they were paying way too much money. So we took on the burden of choosing those plans for them and helping them navigate the changes year to year, and still do so today.
And so tell me a little bit about Bridge Insurance Group and what you're doing now.
Bridge Insurance Group came, and it was the fruition of all of my dreams of what an insurance agency should be. I was 25 years in a partner relationship with another agency. We had 680 agents in 28 states, so we had a pretty large impact, but we were pretty single focused. And what I decided is when people are looking for insurance, they want someone that can help them with everything. Auto, home, life, Medicare, health, and we decided to fill that role by establishing good partner relationships, contracting with all the best companies, and having a staff that is very accessible. We are available by phone, we're available with text on weekends and holidays. Often we're very engaged with our clients to a personal level, and I think that makes a difference. We're very relational.
And so what makes this different from, say, going to a particular insurance agency that has some of the big names out there? You're a local, I don't know how far you stretch, maybe you can answer that too, but how does it differ?
Well, we are in 10 states, and we do contract with all the same companies, but many of the larger insurance agencies focus on either a single product line or they're more interested in those bigger groups. We're here to help the individual, the person who really does need to sort through things. And now with the internet, which we didn't have when I first started, people can go online, do a search, and before they know it, their mailboxes are full, their inboxes are full, and their phone is full with voicemails from people they don't know trying to sell them a product. We take all of that off of them, and we do the research for them.
And so in terms of who you're looking for, obviously an individual, and it seems like more contractors or entrepreneurs, anybody else, or is there an age range you're looking for, or who can be helped by you?
Well, we have several product lines, and our big ones are health, Medicare, and life insurance. Let me just give you a couple of examples. For something innovative, life insurance has evolved. When our parents bought life insurance, it was whole life. It was a standard policy, it was a certain amount, and that was all they had back then. Then we started to add term life. Well, that became something that was for a specific term, whether it was to raise your kids, pay off a mortgage, whatever. Now we have products that are so innovative that they combine both, and they will actually allow you to draw policy or cash out of the policy for things like a critical illness, cancer, heart attack, stroke. So they have living benefits in your life insurance. If you never use those, then the life insurance pays out in full. If not, it's simply decreased by the amount of money you took out while you were living. For health insurance, we don't just do the big names. We have alternative approaches that are 30% less than the major medical plans that are being offered today, and we're also all fully certified to help you with the exchanges. And we're also in 10 states now.
Wow. And so, what should people look at whenever they're trying to find insurance for themselves?
I think the best thing is to contact us, because we are going to set you up with an agent that might be a specialist in that area. We do have specific agents that are certified and trained in particular areas. But most likely, when you get a premium rate increase, when you have a claim and it wasn't paid the way you thought it was going to be, or if for any reason you have a change in your life, you're divorced, you moved, you came off of your parents' plan, those are all opportunities for us. Or you're facing retirement and looking at Medicare, which is one of the most confusing times for most people. We are able to walk them through all of the choices and simplify it for them.
And can you tell me a little bit about your team?
My team is awesome, and we had our big staff meeting because we're preparing for open enrollment, which is a specific time of year where people can change their plans. But my team is really, if you look at them, they're perfectly fit together. We have people that are great at paperwork, people that are great at customer service. We have agents that are phenomenal at Medicare, those that love the underage market for the health insurance, those that focus on life insurance. So it's such a well-oiled machine, and we all complement each other.
And they're fun, too.
They are so much fun. We have so much fun. We are always looking to make insurance fun.
And in terms of when people are out there and they come to you, what can they expect when they come through your door?
Our biggest point in establishing this agency is we want it to be relational, not transactional. We do want to make a sale. That's how we make our money. However, we also want to be able to see you at the grocery store or at church and feel good about the relationship we have, feel good about the business we did together. You'll have access to us and we stay in the mix. I often say, when's the last time you heard from your auto agent or your life insurance agent? We contact our clients on a regular basis and they always have access to call us.
And, what are kind of the first steps for somebody once they're starting an insurance policy or that you're working on?
The first steps is we want to make it as easy as possible. We take all the pressure off applying, trying to figure out where to go, how to go through the underwriting process. If it's a life insurance policy, we collect information on the phone, and we will do it either way. We will meet you face to face if that's your comfort level. We also can do everything over the phone. You never have to meet with us. There's no high pressure. We're going to provide you with all the information that you need.
And in terms of all the different areas in which you choose, do you get people that come in and just do one, or do they always do all of them, or how does that work?
Well, it's interesting you should ask. We say pull out your financial junk drawer. If you pull out your auto, your home, your life, your Medicare, your health, whatever policies you have, we are not looking to get new premium dollars. We're looking to take the premium dollars you're already spending and allocate them better. We want efficiency, we want proper products, and again, we are very innovative. I myself and most of my staff does 100 to 200 hours annually of additional training so that we can be ahead of the curve. We're not stagnant. We are always looking for new products and new ways to solve those insurance risks.
And what can you tell the individual? Like, what are some of the hardships or some of the things you've seen along the way when it comes to an individual getting their own health insurance that maybe, aside from just making it easier, that, who's struggling and what are they struggling with?
Heartbreaking situations, and today most people are suffering with high deductibles and high premiums. Usually we can find an end around. We can find a solution for that, and often we're saving them 50 to 70% over what they were paying by just doing it the proper way. Having someone that knows the systems, that knows the opportunities available, and that is a passion of ours, is to try to fix those situations, either right on the spot, or if we have to wait to open enrollment, we're very diligent about following up.
And how long do you work with your clients?
It's a continual relationship, but typically, if it's a health insurance policy, whenever they need it, we're going to make sure that's triggered. We like to have a couple of days or weeks headline on that. You know, if you're coming up on renewal and you need to change, we can do it overnight in most cases. We're that efficient, and we can get most of those policies issued right away.
And I'm sure you keep them up to date on stuff that's new and stuff that could be beneficial for them in the future. And what can you do for seniors in retirement or something like that that they're maybe not covered? Do you work with them as well?
I'm extremely passionate about seniors because the Medicare choices are overwhelming. There's a lot of marketing and very little information. So what we do, and I've seen it, I always say it's the shoulder test. They come in, their shoulders are up here, they're very uptight, they have a stack of information, and by the end of our meeting, usually I see those shoulders relax, them say, I understand it now. And they feel like they have a grasp on it. I want to empower all my clients, those people that want to be the only resource. I don't want to be that person. I want my clients to understand what they're choosing.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Lynn, for coming on. We'll bring you back out here in just a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. To find out more about Lynn, go to bridgeinsgroup.com. When we get back, we will meet James Protin of the Protin Group. Hi, James, or also
Hello.
Jamie as you go by. Very nice to have you on the show this afternoon.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So what can you tell me? Tell me a little bit about you and the Protin Group.
Well, a little bit about me. I have been in the engineering business for 35 years. I work for Mack Engineering Company out of Pittsburgh. And if you think insurance might be a little boring, I'm not even going to get into engineering because it's, you put pipe in the ground for water and sewage and things like that. But I've been doing that for a long time. And out of that came I came to understand a need for more. What comes next? It's more than just business because, as Lynn alluded to, everything in business is relationship driven, right? So to go beyond the actual technical aspect of engineering and develop those relationships, that's where I got into things. And I worked through the technical side of things and became vice president of business development and marketing nationally for a local engineering firm. And then it got to the point where I got older. I have 5 children and 12 grandchildren.
Wow.
So it was, everybody was local. Our youngest is in the Air Force, so he's the only one that's really not here. So I wanted to really stay closer to home. So I scaled back to a smaller, more local family-owned firm, and it's been a great decision. But where the Protin Group came from was I do a lot of giving. I was raised where living is giving, right? That's what you do. You take what you need and you leave the rest. You give back. So I needed a vehicle to do inspirational speaking, public speaking, and I have a blog and different things that I do like that around that space. So I created the Protin Group. And then I got approached by a few people. It developed into a business opportunity as people, there are a lot of nonprofits in particular, but even businesses that were created kind of with great intentions, but not necessarily with the technical processes that are needed to succeed. So writing business plans, developing strategies, market entry, and different things like that. So it kind of morphed into that, although the focus of it is still that public speaking and writing piece.
Well, it's good. You're kind of public speaking right now.
Yeah,
so
this is great.
You're doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
And so your group, does it focus on engineers only, or is it?
No, we work across market sectors. And one of the great things is that we do very little with engineering because I'm still involved in that space. So I met up with an old friend of mine, Mike Melone, who owns Melone Advertising in Canonsburg, PA, right here in Washington County. And we were at a seminar that was given by the Small Business Development Center out of the University of Pittsburgh. And just talking, we hadn't planned on being there together, but just talking through it, we decided, well, let's get together and collaborate and see if we can help our respective businesses grow. So we did that, and it didn't take long for us to realize that there was an opportunity here beyond just business development or marketing. There was an opportunity to give back, to make some money, generate revenue, but also give back to the community. It was one thing that was missing in the communities, especially at the eastern end of Washington County, okay, where you have the urban river communities along the Monongahela River, they've lost their economy, their economic base, right? The steel industry left, coal is struggling, the glass industry is struggling. All the things that had them thriving 20, 30, 40 years ago are now gone. So they've been kind of groping in the dark as to how are we going to build that economy?
Next.
Right. And really, it's one of those things at the state level, it's unintentional, but it's an out of sight, out of mind thing, right? So you've got to have a vehicle to get your message out there, to basically market yourself as a community. So when we were thinking through that, I have another friend, Michael Korposh, who's the president of MGR Consulting. And their business is toward the public sector, municipalities again, providing solutions to issues related to legal, policy, and financial, okay? So we brought Michael into the mix. So now the three of us were strategizing, and we're seeing these opportunities expand, okay, as to how we can offer a one-stop shop.
They all kind of intermingle with one another.
Right, so you've got the marketing strategy, you've got the creative, the really high-end creative from Melone Advertising, and then the policy analysis and government affairs type thing from MGR Consulting. So at that point, we decided, let's create a company. So right now we're in the process of building a company. We've got it registered. It's going to be called Innovative Media Group, and it's going to be a multimedia business where the intent is, although we will work with businesses, corporations to provide marketing and things like that, but the intent, the core mission is going to be to help municipalities grow and get their message out, not only within their region, but also in Harrisburg, where it really matters.
Well, and I mean, my other job, my side life, is I run one of the chambers. And you can definitely tell some of the municipalities in the area how strong they are.
Right.
And some are just a little more quiet. So it just depends on what their focus is and how much they want to grow. And some are fine being quiet. They're doing quite well that way. So that's probably a great opportunity.
It is. Most of the rural communities, I was president of the Mon Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce, and that's right in the heart of those communities. And
Sure.
and there's a really nice mix there, although they don't really mesh a lot, because you have those small urban communities, which are struggling a little bit now, economically, and they're losing population and so on. But then you have the townships that, in that case, are a little bit more rural, suburban, if you will, and those populations are growing a little bit, but they don't have that commercial space, right? So if you live in a Fallowfield Township, for example, right, where do you go to the grocery store? There's no grocery store in Fallowfield Township. It's a bedroom community.
I live in Cecil Township, which
Right.
is, we're on the cusp. I feel
Right.
like in the next 5-10 years, I'll get that grocery store that's
exactly right.
closer. So
that's kind of the mission, is to kind of regionalize and get these communities. There's 40 of them just in that small area on either side of the Monongahela River. Okay, that's the Mon Valley. You probably have heard that term. So at the end of the day, if those 40 communities that have a combined population of a little over 100,000 people, okay, come together and collaborate and look at their operations and their needs collaboratively as a whole, they have a much larger, louder voice. Okay, so that's kind of what this whole thing is all about, to give them a vehicle to get that voice out there and have it be heard.
And so, down the road, 5 years from now, where do you see the group going?
I see the group really going heavily into that creative space. Okay, I think that the technical side of things, the nuts and bolts, that's there. That's accessible and attainable for these communities, because there's grant monies out there and so on at the state level that can help them with that. So I think where we are looking, our niche is going to be in providing that kind of one-stop shop where they can go at a very manageable cost, that you're going to have a creative that is competitive with the best agencies in the state, in the region. Then you're going to have the strategic experience on the marketing side of my personally 35 years, and then Michael Korposh on the policy and legal side with 40 years of experience. So you have all of this. The three of us combined have nearly 150 years experience in doing this type of work. So providing that at a cost that these communities can then put back into their own community, to their residents and their constituents, is really where I think that our niche is going to be.
So it's kind of like a fantastic meeting of the minds.
Yeah, and it's really, this might not make sense to some, but it's a for-profit, nonprofit. If that, if you can get your head around that. Being in the Chamber of Commerce space, it's, even with the chamber, you have to run it like a business.
You do.
Okay, so if you get into that mindset, well, we're a nonprofit, we're not here to make money, we're here to do good. Well, see, I think that the change for the better, not just locally but globally, is going to come from the business community. That's where it's at. Business has the power to change lives. You just saw it firsthand. I mean, she's amazing, and the business that she's in literally every day changes lives. And we try to do that as well. That's kind of our focus, is if we can make a difference in one person's life, that's how we measure we're going to measure success. How we do and how we will. Okay, it's not how much money we make, but how we impact the lives of other people.
Well, and especially if you're doing it within municipalities, you're not just helping the people who are running the municipality, you're helping the entire community. So
Exactly.
it is no matter what, it is a good thing
Sure.
to do.
It's
It
a
is a
ripple
good way
effect.
to help.
You know, you throw a pebble into a lake, a body of water. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a boulder or a pebble. It still has a ripple. The ripples go out, they expand as they go out, right, in concentric circles. So the size of the pebble, the stone, the rock, the boulder is not as important as the fact that you're doing it. That ripple will then impact a lot more people than that initial splash. So little splash, big splash, it doesn't really matter. It's the ripple that's important.
It's just putting in the time and effort in the beginning to see
Right.
how well it can help.
Right, exactly.
Is there anything else that I haven't touched on that you'd like to share with us today?
No, that's it. I think that it's been a great opportunity to get a message out, and this is another vehicle to do that, and I appreciate you having us here. Just spreading the word. And you know, there's no reason to not be positive in life, and that's the message that we're trying to get out.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. We will bring you back out in a few moments with Lynn as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you much, James, for joining us today. Learn more about his services at theprotingroup.com. We will return soon with both Lynn and James after the break. See you in a moment. Lynn and James, it's been a wonderful afternoon. I keep remembering what time it is. So tell me a little bit, Lynn, you seem to know how you two met, and maybe you can share that with us.
Well, interestingly enough, off of all the business side, Jamie and I met through actually a Facebook relationship. And the unique thing about both of our stories is we had both gone through some pretty traumatic, personal, life-altering changes. And we began to share our journey raw, honest, vulnerable on Facebook, and we immediately had a connection because of that. We were very open about our journey, and many of the things that we were sharing were exactly what he just said in the last segment, which is being positive. You can take those rough times in life, the things that you don't plan on or anticipate, and become a person who claims the victim, looks for an excuse, gives up, any number of things. Jamie and I both did the opposite. We took it, we embraced it, we owned our part of it. We owned up to our mistakes, but then we made the decision to turn that into something beautiful.
That's great. And so do you help each other with each other's businesses now? And how do you think you guys work their best together, if I can get it?
No, I think we do, not intentionally, you know, but subconsciously, really because of the relationship we have. You know, we're in contact with each other and we talk, and I think that just when you look at, and social media is an incredibly powerful tool if it's managed
Absolutely.
properly. You know, I write a blog every morning and I post it on Facebook, on my Facebook page, for no other reason than just to put a positive thought out there to start my own day that
Yeah.
way. You know, and I see whenever she puts something and vice versa, and a lot of times we're on the same page. You know, the content and the kind of the theme, for lack of a better word, of what I might put out in the morning, I see come from her at the same time. So we're really on the same page without even really trying to do that. And you know, when you think of a friendship like that, that really came out of, you know, you see somebody pop up on Facebook, right, and you realize that you've got 100 or 200 mutual friends. And you say, why am I not talking to this person? You know,
Yeah.
and then you reach out, and then all of a sudden you realize that you've got so much in common and so many things. And when we, I mean, like
and
she said,
Facebook just knew and put you two together.
Right.
exactly right. But you want to know what? I'll tell you what's funny is that you know, I hadn't met you before the other day, and just yesterday when I went on and I posted that, you know, they suggest friends for you. You were the first one that popped up.
There you go.
See, it
So
was
it's
meant
like
to be.
you gotta wonder how they know that.
Now I have to make sure my posts are positive. No, I'm just kidding. No, I say there's two different. I mean, there's people who are running their lives on Facebook and they, you know, the day to day, and then there's people who are really trying to reach out and influence each other as well as influence themselves. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's really nice to see positive notes during the day. I mean, some of them stick out, and you're like, that's my theme of the day. So. It's wonderful that you
important.
guys got together and figured out a way to get to know one another and work in
Yeah.
the same region. And
Right.
it's a pleasure getting to know you. Lynn, I've known you for some time. So thank you both today for coming on the show. And, you know, hopefully
Thank you for
everybody
having me.
out there gets to know both of you a little bit better as well.
Let's hope.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, we'll see you both soon. All right, thank you, James and Lynn, for joining us on this episode of Spotlight on Pittsburgh. And thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Spotlight on Pittsburgh, and join us again next time when we shine the spotlight on two new guests.